Arsenal send shockwaves around Europe. This is one of the biggest statements for as long as I can remember as an Arsenal fan. These were the two best teams in world football. The managers were both taught from the best manager in world football. They learned from the same book. But one student took better notes. Arteta and Arsenal coming out on top. And now there's some serious discussion around this Arsenal team. Like, I genuinely believe this Arsenal team is the best in the world. And people can no longer argue with that. We've just faced the most potent, the most dominant team in Europe. That's what they were saying about this Bayern Munich team a week ago even. So now that Arsenal have beaten that, have overcome that, don't let them change the conversation. Arsenal have some of the best players in world football. Declan Rice, for example. This is no longer a player who's one of the best. Like, he's the best midfielder in world football. In terms of a number 8, I think most people at this point, even if they're rivals, through gritted teeth should admit that Declan Rice is at the pinnacle of being a number 8. Most people thought Declan Rice could just be a number 6. Mikel Arteta identified certain qualities and said, you're my number 8. And that decision has paid off. Look, there are so many fascinating talking points to talk about from that game yesterday. I am genuinely blown away. But first of all, let me know your thoughts on who you thought was man of the match in that game. For me, it's very simple. I will give you mine, but in the comment section, let me know who was your man of the match. Look, I'll run through kind of a few notes that I took. And, of course, you guys get in the comment section for some discussion as well. But Arsenal started off with an early enough goal, 20 minutes. Set piece again, ole, ole. The set piece routines even carrying through into Europe. No one knows how to deal with these set pieces. Again, well crafted. What a delivery from Bukayo Saka and Timber. So clever to get in front of the keeper, move a few feet ahead, and just glide it perfectly into the Bayern Munich net. That set up the stage. That was ready for Arsenal to go on and do something special. Didn't pan out like that. Bayern Munich are a very good team. I said before this game, I'm so impressed with how Bayern Munich are just able to create a chance. They just carve through teams. At points when you think there's nothing to be carved, there isn't a way through a team. Bayern Munich just managed with the craft that they have to create a chance. And it was a brilliant goal from Bayern Munich. Now, there are some discussion about whether the Arsenal defence could have done better. Lewis-Skelly, in particular, is a player who's coming under some, I don't know, criticism. People are saying his performances as of late haven't been as up to the level that he produced last season. I can probably agree with that. Now, I'm certainly not going to be one of the people who sit online or sit in this video and, I don't know, attack Miles Lewis-Skelly and come at it in a negative standpoint. There's no need to do that. We've just beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League to be the only team in the competition right now who's undefeated. We don't need to turn this into a negative and a player attack. Miles Lewis-Skelly's performance in this game wasn't the best. I will just leave it as that. He's a young player. I'm not going to get on his back. He still has some improvement to do. He set himself a high bar last season with some of the performances he produced. And I'm sure if you asked Miles Lewis-Skelly, he will probably say, I'm not playing my best football. So instead of attacking that guy and putting him down, let's say, we know you can do better. Come on, mate. Let's see it. That's all I would say on that. And then we had the Trossard injury. Again, another injury. Mikel Arteta, though, deciding Madueke was the guy to come on. And look, he was brilliant. Madueke came on. It was a different position for him. He played on the left. It wasn't until he moved over to the right that he scored his goal. But again, Madueke, when he came on, looked dangerous. I'm glad to have Madueke back. But it is this frustration of, right, you can kind of start to see a plan as to when these players arrive. We're going to have all these people to choose from, but it doesn't pan out. It's so frustrating, I know. But Madueke done well. Arteta's in-game management is improving. We're seeing game in, game out that Arteta's making decisions in games that are really impacting moments. Mikel Arteta needs huge praise in this game. And that was shown as well in the game. As soon as Calafiori come on, it must have been like his first touch, gets down the wing. There's some play between Eze, Declan Rice, gets out to Calafiori, whips it in, and Madueke is there to finish it off. Again, the in-game management to play Calafiori, to bring on Madueke, to switch him to the right-hand side, and then he's in that moment to score the goal. Again, Mikel Arteta's decision-making is improving season upon season. People used to get frustrated with Mikel Arteta because of some of the decision-making, but it's like this guy has just got into management. He needs time to develop as a coach, and we're now seeing the advantage of sticking with it. Understanding that there's a vision, understanding that there's a process, and now we are reaping the rewards. This Arsenal team is deadly. Like I said, I used to dream of moments like this. I used to wish to watch Arsenal in these huge European ties against some of the best teams in the world and think, I would love that to be my team. I would love for Arsenal to beat Bayern Munich. How many times over the seasons have we seen Arsenal be turned over by teams like Bayern Munich? Never were we capable of matching these big teams. Now these teams are looking at Arsenal and saying, in the next round, I don't want to be facing you. Arsenal now will need to be avoided from most teams' perspective. Teams like Real Madrid, teams like PSG, whoever, even the English teams later in the competition, no one will want to face Arsenal. Arsenal now are recognised as one of the very best teams in world football, and in most people's opinions, if they're being unbiased, they would say this Arsenal team on current form is the best team in the world. Again, Declan Rice, I just wrote here, he just deserves so much credit. That was epitomised in that moment where he kind of running down the left-hand side, lost the ball, and then he just running, working like a horse to win it back, tackling, slide tackling Harry Kane, the England captain, knocking him over. He don't care, and then riling up the crowd. Declan Rice, I don't know, almost conveys emotion. Like, I'm watching Declan Rice and thinking, you are something just unthinkable. Like I used to dream of players like Declan Rice playing for the Arsenal. He is exceptional. And then you have the Martinelli goal to finish it off, and he has this every season. Like, of course, straight away when I saw that goal, it reminded me of the Kante goal, but he does have those moments where he's able to break, and the pace is killer. No one's keeping up with Gabriel Martinelli, but it's not just Martinelli that needs praise in that moment. It is Eze. The ball again. He seems to have a knack of doing this. He was the one who played the ball over the top for Martinelli in the game against Man City. He was the one who done it in this game against Bayern Munich. The chemistry is starting to build, and this is what's scary for me, because it's like, this team hasn't finished bonding yet. This team still isn't the finished article. We've still got players out. Like we've spoken countless times about Arsenal's injuries. But a lot of these players are still new to the team. A lot of these players are still new to the system. Zubimendi's new. Calafiori hasn't been a first-team player for too long, so the relationships are still building there. You've got Eze in the team. You're going to have Gyökeres come back in the team. Havertz back in the team. Madueke's new to the team. The chemistry isn't even at 100% yet. That is what's making me look at this and thinking... Now, of course, I'm getting ahead of myself when I'm making statements like this, but genuinely, this Arsenal team can dominate. We can be this era's Man City. We could even be this era's Real Madrid, where you could win back-to-back competitions. Again, I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying this team is so strong. The strength in depth is so strong that there's no reason why this team can't go on to do something special. You're hearing the Bayern manager come out after the game and say, look, I mean, just look at the subs they brought on. And you see rival fans, the European fans online speaking about this team saying, look at their first team. It's already ridiculous. And then they're able to bring on players like Ben White, Madueke, Odegaard, Martinelli. Like the Arsenal team is unbelievable. Like, this period was supposed to be and is a very difficult period for Arsenal. We're not through it yet. I'm not getting too ahead of myself and saying bring on everyone. We're not going to drop points for the rest of the season. Of course, we will drop points. We've got a huge game on the weekend. If we can get through this Chelsea game with a win, we set ourselves up to be the team that everyone looks at and is terrified of. I genuinely believe that, because look, we dropped points to Sunderland and the conversation was, look, they can't even win against Sunderland. You wait until they play Tottenham. You certainly wait until they play Bayern Munich, the team who is just unstoppable. They are this unstoppable force. They are this freak of nature in terms of attack. Arsenal played Tottenham. Arsenal played Bayern Munich. We won both of them games, and now we play Chelsea. After that, you've got a couple of difficult games as well. You look ahead, I think it's Brentford, and then you got Aston Villa. So the games don't get too much easier, but these 3 games in particular were the areas that we spoke about, were the area that most rival fans were pinpointing and saying, yes, this is the period where Arsenal crumble. It's not even Christmas yet, and this 3-game period is the one they identified and said, Arsenal are going to drop off at this period. Arsenal aren't showing any signs of slowing down. Again, this team is so impressive. They deserve the credit. Everything they are doing right now is the result of hard work, dedication, and everyone used to mock us for saying trust the process, but we are now reaping the rewards of exactly that. They used to mock us because we had faith in Mikel Arteta and this Arsenal team, and now they're not laughing. They are genuinely terrified because they understand this Arsenal team can go on to do anything. But let me know your thoughts on everything you heard in this video. What are your thoughts on, I'm going to pinpoint a few players, Eze, Declan Rice, Jurrien Timber. These guys are amongst the very best in the world in their positions. Eze certainly is the best in the world. I would say at this point, Timber is certainly the best in the world. And I'm enjoying watching this gracefulness that we're now starting to see from Eze. It seems like he has this bit more confidence since coming in. I think most people would have said 3 weeks ago about Eze, he's a good player, but he's not at that level that I was expecting. We are now seeing that level from Eze, and it is frightening. Like I said, thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.